Are you awake yet?
What up, what up, what up? This is Reason With Me, and I'm your host, Nathan Richards. Before we get into the video today, I just want to remind everybody to like and subscribe, comment down below, check out the merch store, follow me on Gab. All those links are down below. I'm not going to flood this video with links today because this video is actually very important and I just want to get right into it. So, with all that being said, let's jump in. First of all, I want to start with covering the standard definition of gaslighting for people who don't know what it is. Gaslighting once referred to extreme manipulation that can induce mental illness or justify commitment to a psychiatric institution. It is now used more generally, in a non-literal sense and often for rhetorical or vivid effect. The term is simply defined as to make someone question their reality. Gaslighting is occasionally used in clinical literature but is considered a colloquialism by the American Psychological Association. Philosophy scholar Kate Abramson suggests that there are individuals who cannot tolerate disagreement with or criticism of their view of things from certain individuals in their life, and an effective way to neutralize the possibility of criticism is to undermine others' conception of themselves as an autonomous locus of thought, judgment, and action. This effectively reduces the target's capacity to criticize or respond independently. So, as you can see, gaslighting can encompass a tremendous number of things. I'm here to tell you about some of the subtle ones that may be affecting you, how it's affecting you, and how we can overcome this. Number 1. Social media banning. If you're a free-thinking person that likes to express your own unique opinions, most likely you've been banned off of Facebook or Twitter at least once in your life.
Have you been a good little Nazi? Hail Fauci! Hail Fauci! Hail Fauci! Hail Fauci!
When that happens, a tsunami of emotions and thoughts runs through you. Am I wrong? Why do these people hate me? Do I really deserve to be punished? Why can't I just say what I want to say? This sucks. But they still allow you to have the ability to log on and follow other people's conversations, which creates another feeling in us that's akin to being put in jail. And that feeling is that the world is moving on without you and you just have to sit there and watch it all go by. And it really doesn't help when our political leaders and our thought leaders refuse to move away from these platforms. Instead, they decide to subjugate you to the abusive policies of big tech. And those policies were explicitly written to abuse people that don't adhere to their version of groupthink that they created. So, not only are we being subjugated to the psychological and emotional abuse that big tech knowingly inflicts on us, we're being forced to endure it by the people we love and support because they're more worried about having followers than they are your mental well-being. And instead of them moving to free speech platforms where they can hear your voice and you won't be punished for it, they lock you into a relationship with your abusers that actively censor the things you want to say. Which is why I really don't give a about Trump's big tech lawsuit. It doesn't fix anything, and it doesn't prevent big tech from innovating new ways to torment us. What happens when an unstoppable force meets an immovable object? The force just goes around the object, which is what they've done to Trump and us in the past and what they'll continue to do to us in the future. With platforms like Gab, we have the opportunity to become an unstoppable force ourselves. And what happens when an unstoppable force meets an unstoppable force?
That's quite the paradox.
Which brings me to my next point. Number 2, free speech spaces.
Free speech spaces are just another name for white supremacy spaces.
This week there was the tragic story that a man, Robert Bowers, stepped into a synagogue in the city of Pittsburgh in the United States, opened fire and took the lives of 11 people. Since that crime has transpired, that man actually had quite an active social life, social media life that is, on a particular website known as Gab, which is starting to get a lot of attention because it seems to be one of the most popular sites for people on the alt-right end of the spectrum.
It was founded by a guy called Andrew Torba, and it was really set up as the free speech, quote-unquote, alternative to your Twitters, your Facebooks. He said at the time when he created it that the rise of censorship on these other social media platforms was why he was creating it.
Twitter and Facebook have, to some degree, forced some of the more extreme personalities on the internet off their platforms.
Yeah, look, it's a place where people go when they've been booted off the other sites, really, or where, you know, the kind of content that they're posting would put them at risk of being booted off those sites. So you are talking about, you know, people like Milo Yiannopoulos, you know, InfoWars' Alex Jones, and the kinds of people that support them. That's, you know, the man that founded the site was a Trump supporter that was fed up by the censorship that he was seeing in his feed.
Are there mean people on free speech spaces like Gab? Sure. You know where else you can find mean people? On Earth. Here. Right here. This planet that we're on right now. So I would say if you want to be in a place that's completely free of mean people, you should call Dr. Kevorkian. But since Kevorkian is dead, call Dr. Fauci instead.
Dr. Fauci.
Hello, Dr. Fauci. I need to get away from these Nazis. I'm looking for a way to end it all. Can you help?
Get vaccinated as quickly as you possibly can.
Okay. Is there a specific one that you could recommend that would end it all quicker?
So I don't have any favorite. Take the Moderna.
So what has happened to all of the other people that have taken that one?
We've eliminated several countries.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Fauci. You're a saint. Listen, there are people with questionable motivations in all 50 states in this country. Does that prevent you from living in the state that you live in? What would you do if you were in an abusive relationship with another person? And they told you that if you left the abusive relationship, you were dumb, a white supremacist, a conspiracy theorist, paranoid, and delusional. This situation is no different. You should be grateful to a man like Andrew Torba who created a refuge for you. Because honestly, Gab is more similar to a domestic violence shelter than it is to a terrorist training ground. You're safe on Gab. But at least if someone is being mean to you there, you have the right to defend yourself, and you don't have to worry about being punished for simply defending yourself, which is another psychological tactic that these big tech companies like to use against us. Need I say more? Moving on to number 3, the laugh emoji.
You're so crazy.
All we asked for was a dislike button, Kuckerberg. But instead you gave us this. And this will end up causing more psychological harm to people than a dislike button ever could. Was it by design? Most likely. After all, Facebook has employed psychologists to assist in the creation of their platform since way before the emoji buttons were added. So why isn't there an option to express that you disagree with someone without 1. Verbally expressing it and risk being banned. 2. Making yourself look emotionally unstable by hitting the angry face. 3. Gaslighting the person you disagree with by hitting the laugh emoji. I'd venture to guess that the majority of the time that the laugh emoji is used, it's used with the intent of making somebody look ridiculous, crazy, dishonest, so on and so forth. I'd also say that it could be used to support a joke or something that's funny, but people are definitely using it to gaslight others. Which is why I like Gab. Gab has a like button, and that's it. If you disagree with someone, you have to get your opinion across by using your words like an adult. We've all had a post where we expressed something meaningful to us, and we just sat there and watched the laugh reacts go up and up and up, and we all remember how that made us feel. Now for my 4th and final point, name calling. Yes, name calling. So juvenile, yet so effective.
Conspiracy theorist, white supremacist, anti-vaxxer, domestic terrorist. If you believe that, then you must believe the world is flat.
It's just gaslighting. It's just gaslighting. It's just another trick in the bag of psychopaths that want to manipulate their victims into doing what they're told. They can only control you for as long as they can scare you with these basic, run-of-the-mill, amateur psychological attacks. If you refuse to stand up to them, if you refuse to leave them, then you are handing them a victory. And you're not just losing your own personal battle with them, you're losing the battle for all of us. Because every moment that you subject yourself to their abuse, it's making you mentally unfit and unprepared to fight the battles that we have to fight in the future over our hearts, our minds, our families, and our souls. They're breaking down your resilience. They're chipping away at your strength. And I implore you just to leave them before they tear you down completely.
I told you we would penetrate the darkness, but it's okay.
I brought a flashlight. If you're scared, be brave. If you're confused, that's why God put me here. You can either follow those with the light to triumph and victory, or you can follow the others to the slaughterhouse. The choice is yours.